How to prevent default browser behaviors in JavaScript events. Imagine clicking a link and suddenly the page jumps to a new URL without you wanting it to. That's the default behavior of browsers doing what they're built to do. But sometimes you want to control what happens when users interact with your website. That's where preventing default behaviors comes into play. In JavaScript, the main way to stop the browser from doing its usual action is by using a method called event-prevent-default. When an event occurs, like clicking a link or submitting a form, an event object is created and passed to your event handler. Inside that handler calling prevent-default, on this object tells the browser to stop its default action. For example, if you don't want a link to navigate when clicked, you can prevent that navigation from happening. Here's how it works step by step. First, you select the element you want to listen to, like a link or a form. Then, you add an event listener to that element using addEventListener. When the event fires, your callback function runs, and inside it, you call event-prevent-default. This stops the browser from following the link or submitting the form automatically. For example, if you have a link and want to stop it from navigating, you write something like this. Const link is equal to document, query selector, A. Link addEventListener click, function event. Event-prevent-default stops the link from opening. Console, log navigation prevented. This way, you can handle the click with your own JavaScript code instead of letting the browser do its default action. It's especially useful when you want to validate from data before submitting, or when you're building a single-page application where page navigation is handled by JavaScript. You can also prevent other default actions, like stopping a form from submitting so you can check the input first. Or, you might want to disable right-click context menus for certain elements by preventing the context menu event. Sometimes, you might see inline event handlers in HTML, like onClick. Returning false from such a handler also stops the default action. But using addEventListener and prevent-default is cleaner and more flexible. Keep in mind, not all events can be canceled. You can check if an event is cancelable by looking at its cancelable property. If it's false, calling prevent-default won't do anything. Also, prevent-default only stops the default browser behavior. It doesn't stop the event from bubbling up through the DOM. If you want to stop the event from moving to parent elements, you'd use event-stop-propagation. This method is supported across all modern browsers, making it a reliable way to control user interactions. Mastering prevent-default gives you the power to override default behaviors and create custom experiences on your website. It's a key part of handling events and manipulating the document object model to make your site behave exactly how you want.